Thanks for tuning in to Tapped In. If you're feeling stuck or overwhelmed on the mats, come find your direction in our DFM Coaching BJJ School community. Now, let's get started.
Welcome to Tapped In. My name is David Figueroa-Martinez of DFM Coaching, and today we're going to be discussing how Jiu-Jitsu lets us be a kid again or play like a kid again. One of the things that happens when you become an adult with various responsibilities from work, kids, to taking care of family members, multiple jobs, is the fact that we get further and further away from play. We get further and further away from doing physical activities. And if you look around, many of the people in your circle outside of jiu-jitsu, that is, oftentimes do very little physically, do very little play physically. They are unfortunately tied so deeply into the responsibilities of being an adult, being a productive member of society, of being the head of a household, a parent, that we don't get to play as much as we should. We put everything else or everyone else forward and ahead of us as a priority. And by the time we get to any amount of time for ourselves, we're just so exhausted we don't have time for it. We would much rather just sit, veg, watch a movie, watch a TV show, nap, go to sleep, and then repeat it the next day. This is not an episode where I'm casting judgment. It's just the reality for many of us. Those of us who have made physical activity a priority, like jiu-jitsu or anything like it, any grappling arts or anything that allows us to be physical with other people, we get the benefit of that activity allowing us to be childlike. And I personally think that allows us to grow and to have a really healthy view of life and time, because it allows us to be more like the kids at one point. When you watch any nature show, whether it's the monkeys, the great apes, the lions, whatever, when you watch the kids, they're all toying and playing and grappling and tussling and moving around, and they're expending energy, and there's this playfulness that is such a benefit to their existence. When you watch your own kids, they do much of the same thing. And it's a huge blessing to have that moment where nothing else matters. We get to play for this amount of time, and we just get to enjoy it. We're so far in the moment because of that play that a lot of those stressors for adults goes away. When you watch your own kids play, no matter what the kid is going through, they find a moment of play that kind of relieves that stress. They can be ailing, they could be in a hospital, they can be going through something traumatic. And at some point, most kids will find a moment where there's a level of play that they get to kind of forget about everything else. Then, unfortunately, as we get older, we get further and further away from that. Some of us play video games, and that does similar things with the exception of the really physical aspect. I personally think that the physical aspect is a huge and a massive, important ingredient in play that more of us need. Men specifically are just, we love tussling. My brother and I, for example, my brother does not train. He's a few years younger than me. And every time we get together, we tussle at some point. And it's usually at the end of our get together. We dap up, we hug, and then we start like tussling for underhooks and body locks. And he doesn't know what the fuck he's doing, but he understands play. He understands tussling and wrestling around. So we wrestle around a little bit, and he tries to do some stuff, and I do some stuff. And it's the thing that we do. It's our little male bonding moment before saying goodbye. And there's a joy in that. There's a joy in having that ability to be kids again. And that, in essence, that's what our childhood looked like. We would tussle, we would wrestle around, we would play WWE, WWF. And that was our moment. One of the things so what it looks like on the mats, it's structured play that's disguised as combat. Yes, it's a combat art, and it requires us to be really safe, really mindful of safety, because some of the things that we're doing are dangerous. But at the end of the day, it's play. It's human chess without taking turns. It's a game with a moving, adjusting, ever-changing puzzle. It's us deciding how serious or how silly we want to be during play. It allows us to move freely and just experiment with our physical nature against someone else. Again, in the moment. Nothing else matters when we're tussling and we're rolling around on the mat. You don't have to worry about the social norms of being good. Like, you get to be rough. You get to be with good measure, obviously. You don't want to hurt the other person. But so many of us are in this buttoned up environment where obviously you can't tussle with people at work. You can't wrestle people in the office or in the storehouse or in a warehouse or a call center, any of these things. Here, you get to pull off those social norms of personal space, of not touching, of not grabbing. And here you get to really just eliminate those rules and be something different. You get to rediscover the joy of just messing around and failing and retrying and laughing at one another and ribbing each other. And there's a sense of curiosity that happens on the mats that we often don't get outside as adults. If you can picture the kid in you, or maybe the kid that you have, a child, and they see a form of magic for the first time, whether you stole their nose or you made a quarter appear from behind their or some other weird, like you made your finger disappear, or some other card trick. Those moments don't appear all that often when you're an adult, because you've become hip to the things that are going on, and you can no longer suspend your disbelief or your trust in a process. We're jaded sometimes. Jiu-Jitsu is one of those few moments where I get to roll with someone and they do something really tricky or smooth or I had never seen. I'm almost 15 years in, and there's still moments where someone will hit me with a choke that I had never seen, or for some reason in the moment I thought they were grabbing one lapel and they actually grabbed the other and then they got the choke in, or they have this unique way of like, I was an open mat on Saturday and Carlos from Five Peaks twisted me up in a way that I had never seen before. I asked him questions about it later and he was like, dude, I don't even remember how I did that. Those moments of like actual wonder, the curiosity behind, I just got rolled up. It's bad for me. I just got rolled up. I didn't win that thing, but I'm still curious and have this curiosity and wonder of like, how did that happen? How did that thing just get pulled off without me knowing? And I'm in the middle of the exchange. Those are the things that we get to experience when we do jiu-jitsu as adults, that in most circles and most environments, we don't get to experience. So most adults don't get to experience. So what it looks like when we're talking about play or childlike play is you catch yourself smiling during the middle of the roll. Something happens and you kind of just smile to yourself because, he got me. I knew she was going to do X, Y, Z. I knew. And yet she still got me with it. She's still able to make the thing work. But I know the magic trick. I know what they needed to do. And yet they still did it. I smile. I laugh sometimes. Someone will hit me with a sweep that I know is coming because they've hit me with that sweep 4 or 5 times. And I sit there and I feel my weight shifting. I can't come back. And I laugh. One of the funniest things that will always get a laugh when you're teaching class or you're sparring with someone is gently applying a wrist lock when you don't have to apply one. I kid you, I'll teach an armbar. I'm like, and then you can get a little spicy and do this wrist lock. People will laugh. It's a little dirty trick. It's a little dirty technique. The other day I was at open mat at La Mesa, and I had this gentleman's arm fully extended. For some reason, I couldn't find the elbow just right, and I couldn't get the tap. He was strong enough to hold the arm without letting it go into like that hyperextension area or zone. So I reached back I felt for his little fingers. I felt for his knuckles on the back of his hand. And then I started pulling everything towards me with a bend in the wrist. And he tapped, and I had these 2 or 3 guys on the sidelines, and they started laughing, and I started laughing, and he started laughing because it's ridiculous. I shouldn't be hitting wrist locks on people. Like, I have the arm fully extended, but for some reason that's funny for us, culture-wise. Those are those moments where you get to be a kid and play and enjoy these weird little moments of joy and just silliness. There's times when I'll have this sweep, stiff arm or the Heisman or whatever you want to call it, from side control or when they're passing knee cut. I'll bridge into them. My hand will be into the far side armpit or shoulder with fabric. And then I'll turn the other way and I'll stiff arm them and I'll stiff arm over. It's such a stupid sweep that their legs will literally kind of flail, like their head will be down or across my body. Their shoulders are hit first and their legs will kind of flail and then they drop over. I've hit that on so many people that when it happens, people laugh. The other one is the dummy sweepers, is what we call it. I don't know if that's what it's called elsewhere. You're sitting in butterfly guard. They're standing over you. Both feet are parallel. One isn't staggered like one in front of the other. They're both side by side. I swoop my ankles to the inside and flare and then push them back. It's the dumbest sweep ever. But every time I hit it on people, it doesn't matter who they are. More often than not, people will laugh because it's a silly sweep. It's one of those things that we're not taking each other too serious. I understand there's a competition element to all this and we want to beat the other person, but we're not super serious about anything that we're doing in training. And that's why it allows us to laugh at that dumb sweep or the Heisman sweep or a wrist lock because it's silly. And we get to be silly. We get to laugh at our mistakes and we get to rib each other and we get to make jokes about the other person's game, all within well-intentioned. But we get to laugh. We get to have fun. We get to enjoy each other. We get to ask questions. We get to blow off steam and let our bodies kind of just work in a way that, again, is childlike. We are, like, this sport is serious and you can get injured. But it's really fun getting that physical exertion out. It's really fun allowing you to experiment in a controlled environment where no one's really going to put you down or make you feel dumb for trying this sweep and then it doesn't work out. Your body feels lighter after class than before it. I have never left gym feeling like, oh shit, I shouldn't have come. Even when I get injured, I don't even think about that. Even when I get injured, it's more of a, well, I got to deal with this now. But it's never, oh, I hated this training session. I shouldn't have come here. I don't think I've ever felt that. Because every time I get to train is a blessing. I get to put down the walls. I get to put down my responsibilities, the weight of the world and society, and I just get to be another student on the mats. And sometimes I am the nail. Sometimes I am the hammer. And sometimes you're both in one round. It just is what it is. If you're in a healthy environment, you don't treat your mistakes as catastrophic. They're not a slight on your intelligence. They're not like your childlike wonder allows you to experiment freely. Moments, like there's times when I'm rolling and not that I go into a meditative state per se, but I go into a state of, let's just see what happens. And there's times when my body will take over and be like, I'm going to do this. And I'm not even thinking strategically. It just feels like I'm going to do this. And in those flow rolls, or regular rolls for that matter, but there's a flow state to it. Your body gets to take over. Your mind gets to shut down. It doesn't have to take all the workload. And you just try shit out. You try, I'm going to stiff arm here. I'm going to bridge here. And there's times it don't work. There's times where it goes horribly wrong. But it's part of the exploratory phase. It's the same thing that a kid does when they decide to walk for the first time. They're not worried about falling down. It's not even a thought. They're just, oh, I want that thing over there. It's way over there. I've been crawling. Maybe it'll be faster if I walk or if I stand. The adult humans are standing. Maybe that there's something to it. and then we fall. And we might feel a way about it, but then we get back up and we try it again. I want people to take their childlike wonder with them everywhere they go when it comes to jiu-jitsu and a lot of things in life as well. I want people to accept that we don't need to know everything. It's okay if we don't. And it's more than okay to fail in every which way possible, as long as you're having a good time with the process. I play chess and I enjoy chess, and I'm not great at it. I don't even think I'm all that good at it, but I like the game, so I keep playing. The same with jiu-jitsu. There's going to be moments where you're going to have a hard time because you're putting way too much stress on you. You're putting way too much pressure to get to that next belt or that next stripe, or worried what your instructor's going to think. I'm in the middle of a competition prep. I got submitted twice yesterday. And they were in ways that I shouldn't have been submitted because I should have been more aware. But also I'm trying some things out. I'm pushing a faster pace. I'm working on certain things that are going to gear me to fail in a way. There's a couple of arm bars that I completely missed, or I was rolled off of, which I shouldn't have. But again, I'm approaching it with childlike wonder because I want to see or have the lowered inhibitions or stress of failure. And I just want to be in this moment of, even when I compete, I want to get to this moment of just like, we are going to see what happens. We're here to have a good time. I want to win, but I want to be playful the entire time. Stern, but playful. If you have any questions on this or anything else, please let me know. You can reach out to me at dfm.2099 on Instagram and Threads. We also have a school community, completely free. I put all of my recorded workshops on there. We put up a Q&A and some audio series on there as well. Any questions, hit me up. Until next time, thank you so much.